Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back, Kellen here from Droid Life. So now we're going to bust out a quick walkthrough of the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play. The PlayStation phone on Verizon, just released today for $199 on contract. See the back there, Xperia, Verizon, Sony Ericsson logo. It's a stock gingerbread phone, 1 GHz Snapdragon processor, Adreno 205 GPU. You know, before I get into this, I just want to say that those are the exact same GPU and processor that's in the Thunderbolt. So I know they're separating them out in the description to make it sound like it's this gaming beast, but I'm telling you, I've looked at Qualcomm's site, and those are the exact same processor and GPU that are in the Thunderbolt. So if unless Qualcomm's wrong, and they're the ones making the processor, it's the exact same. So anyway, should be just as fast as that phone, gaming performance, all that stuff should be the same. So anyway, outside we got 4-inch LCD. Do not believe it's super LCD. It's definitely not super AMOLED or anything like that. It's just LCD, 4-inch though, which is about the right size. A lot of people think 4 inches is perfect. It does have physical buttons down here at the bottom, shiny silver. Not sure how I feel about those. On the back, Sony Ericsson logo, Xperia, 5-megapixel camera with flash, noise canceling mic. Pretty much it for the back. On this side, we got our R&L gaming buttons and a really oddly placed volume rocker right there. On this side, we got micro USB and 3.5mm jack. On the bottom, you got a single microphone there, a slot so that you can pop the back off. On the top, you got your lock switch. Okay. On the gamepad side, there is your gamepad. So, D-pad buttons, I think these are optical sort of trackpads or something. Start, select, menu button. Got all kinds of goodies there. This actually feels really nice in hand. And then, of course, you can reach back and hit the R and L buttons. So that feels good if you're into gaming, definitely. We're going to play games later on. I'm not going to cover those right now. Let me close this back up. And before we jump into its OS, let me just say, in hand, feels okay. That 4-inch screen and the size is just about right. But these R&L buttons, I got to admit, they're driving me nuts already. So in your hand, since I'm right-handed, this R button actually, it's not like it's stabbing me in the hand or causing pain, but it just feels weird. So it does sort of give way. Also, these buttons are, you know, fairly easy to press in. So every time you grab the phone, at least me anyway, I find myself feeling something moving, and that just scares me. I'm just sort of used to unibody, one piece, no outside moving parts phones. So that would be something that you want to get used to. Also, I'm sure this is a concern to many of you, and that's this this gamepad. You can see I'm barely pressing on it. It's moving a little bit, so there is some movement. Even when you're holding it in your hand, you can see just a slight push from your finger. I'm not pressing hard by any means, and that moves a little bit. It does give a little resistance when you get right about there. If you want to open it, you got to really press. But as long as that doesn't loosen up over time, you should be fine. But if that starts loosening up, man, this thing is going to pop open like crazy in your pocket. So you can see resistance there, and then it pushes. So anyway, just something to keep in mind. I did want to show you the OS is stock gingerbread. Yay, everyone throw a little party. We finally got stock gingerbread on a Verizon phone. It's been since October, November of 2009, which is when the original Droid came out. Keep getting emails, sorry about that. So it's been almost 2 years since I had a stock phone. One thing I will say that's sort of bugging me is when you compare it to the Nexus S has that 3D drawer, which is awesome. This does not have that 3D drawer. It's just a straight up and down, hides up there kind of drawer, which they would have thrown in the 3D, but we can probably live without that, right? In the drawer there, you'll see plenty of bloatware apps, a bunch of games they've preloaded on here. Madden, Bruce Lee, VCast, Xperia Play stuff. So they definitely loaded it up, not surprising. But it is stock Android, 2.3.2. As you all know, the newest version is 2.3.4, so it's not completely new, but it's got stock widgets, 5 home screens, anything you would expect from stock really out there. We go into widgets. You can see there's a digital clock one, but other than that, it's all stock stuff. Okay, so definitely stock experience. Let's go ahead and look at the About screen. About phone, 2.3x2. Model number R800X is the Xperia Play. And yeah, that's pretty much a quick walkthrough. Like I said, we're going to get into games later, so I don't really want to show you those now. But it really is stock Android, which is so surprising from Verizon. I do want to say that Sony Ericsson made it a point to announce that they were going to leave their phones unlockable, or at least their bootloaders, except this one. The CDMA version, I'm sorry, the GSM versions you can unlock. CDMA version, surprise, surprise, which is on Verizon, is locked. And of course, they've announced that they're working on ways to make it unlockable, but I highly doubt that will ever happen. So just keep that in mind. It is not unlockable like the other versions of this phone will be. Also, I want to just point out that it doesn't feel all that fast. I mean, I can flip through home screens, you know, that looks all pretty smooth because it's stock Android. I can open up the app drawer, you know, I can get into the camera app, things like that. You know, it does things like that, but the boot up on it, I would suggest never turning your phone off because the boot up on this thing is ridiculously slow. It takes like 5 minutes to boot up, which is sort of surprising. Screen though, since I did this comparison with the Droid X2, I do want to show you screen-wise what it looks like. So here's the Pental QHD, here's just LCD. So you can see the Pental gets, I gotta quit calling it Pental. It is a Pental though. QHD gets brighter. The colors are, I know my camera's not necessarily picking that up. The cameras are, or the colors are about equal. This one looks a little washed out compared to this, but overall, I will show you the difference in Pental later on. It's not all that pretty. So anyway, toss that back aside. So yeah, this is the this is Xperia Play. If you slide that open, it automatically pops up the Xperia Play app with all of your games, which you can choose to play. I played a game a little bit last night. It was fun. It looked nice, smooth, no lag, anything like that. So we'll show you that later, definitely. But yeah, just wanted to do a quick walkthrough. We'll have more at the blog. We're Droid Life, and we're out. Peace.